Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome to our special report on inflation. I am Aida Nazarova, and joining me today is our resident economic expert, Arsh Arora. Today, we delve into the complexities of inflation, exploring its causes, impacts, measurement, and what it means for you.
Thank you, Aida. It's a pleasure to be here to discuss such an important economic topic.
Let's start with the basic. What is inflation?
Aida, inflation refers to a general increase in prices of goods and services in the economy, in the country. It's like
Mhm.
a hidden tax on your money, on your income, which affects everything ranging from your groceries to even
Mhm.
housing.
Okay. Recently, we have a surge in inflation rates globally, with factors such as supply chain disruption, increased demand, and monetary policies all playing a role. What is take on that?
So, to understand what you said, what you summarized more clearly, let's
Mm-hmm.
take a look at it chronologically. For the
Mm-hmm.
past 3 to 4 years, starting from the end of 2019 and the whole of 2020, we were
Mm-hmm.
affected by COVID-19 pandemic. The whole globe was affected by it. So
Mm-hmm.
during this time, what happened was there were strict lockdowns in which people
Mm-hmm.
were not allowed to go outside. At the same time, there was some level of stagnant income in the country. So
Mm-hmm.
when households were in lockdown, this led to a lot of pent up savings among them. At the same time, countries or governments across countries strive to keep their economy stable, and to pursue that interest,
Mm-hmm.
they pursued some easing of monetary policies. At the same time, which is the most
Mm-hmm.
important factor of 2019-2020, was supply chain disruptions. And this majorly came from manufacturing hubs across the world, for example,
Mm-hmm.
China, Taiwan, Vietnam. Then
Mm-hmm.
coming to 2021, when countries started to opening up,
Mm-hmm.
when lockdown restrictions started easing up, uh,
Mm-hmm.
people started going out, they started spending on traveling, they started using their pent up savings. And at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, governments, to boost their economic growth, to have a v-shaped economic, you know growth, countries started
Mm-hmm.
to stimulate their economy by reducing interest rate. Now,
Mm-hmm.
as we were progressing towards normalization, as we were, going towards a normal period after COVID-19 pandemic, in 2022, what happened was a Russian-Ukraine war started. Now, this
Mm-hmm.
created acute price pressures around the global economic terms, and this created acute price pressures, especially in oil markets, which led to increase in crude oil prices. Because
Mm-hmm.
what happens that when price of crude oil increases, the price
Mm-hmm.
of everything which is dependent upon crude oil increases. For example, transportation, then
Mm-hmm.
food, then shipping, then energy prices, especially in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
But to understand in more general, there are there are two bases on which there is inflationary pressure in the economy. The first parameter is demand pull inflation, and the second parameter is supply side inflation. When I say demand pull inflation, what are the
Mm-hmm.
factors which under this parameter which can lead to increase in inflation in the economy? These factors are reduction in interest rate,
Mm-hmm.
increase in wages, increase in
Mm-hmm.
money supply in the economy, as well
Mm-hmm.
as a general increase in confidence of public in the economic potential of the country. Now,
Mm-hmm.
when we see supply side as a parameter, there are some factors such as increase in oil prices. As I mentioned, what happens when there is an increase in crude oil prices? There is a ripple effect in
Mm-hmm.
in uh, in in a way that when increase in oil there is an increase in oil prices, the cost of everything which is dependent upon oil, crude oil, petroleum increases.
Mhm.
Another factor in this supply side parameter is reduction in taxes. So supply side, that is why supply side parameter is also known as cost push inflation, because it tends to increase the cost of raw materials, the food and the goods and services in the economy.
Mhm. Okay, so now it's clear. Also, you mentioned about interest rates. Central bank around the world have implemented measures such as low interest rate and quantitative easing to stimulate the economy, which can also contribute to inflationary pressures. Can you explain how interest rate impacts inflation?
Exactly, Aida. So
Mhm,
this fall under the ambit of monetary policy, which
mhm,
is undertaken by central bank of any country. Central
mhm,
banks use monetary policy tools such as adjusting interest rates to control inflation. For
mhm,
example, when inflation is rising, that means the price of goods and services in the economy is increasing. Sorry.
mhm,
So central banks may increase the interest rate to cool down the inflationary pressure in the economy. Now,
mhm,
how does it work? So when interest rate by central banks are increased, the cost of borrowing increases. So
mhm,
this disincentivizes producers to borrow money for production, for increasing their production capacity or setting up new production capacity. At the
mhm,
same time, it also disincentivizes consumers to borrow money for consumption purposes. For example, taking a car loan, taking a house loan.
mhm,
Another facet of increase in interest rate in the economy by central bank is that
mhm,
people are incentivized to save more money, because
mhm,
as a result of increase in interest rate, the interest rate on savings account, fixed deposit or other saving instruments also increases. So this incentivizes people to save more and consume less. So on one hand we see it disincentivizes people to borrow for consumption or
mhm,
production purposes, therefore dampening the supply side. And on the other hand, it basically disincentivizes people to save more money, therefore reducing the consumption side of the economy and increasing the savings in the economy. So this supply and demand impact helps
mhm,
in dampening the inflationary pressure in the economy, and the same thing can be done in a vice versa situation.
mhm. Okay. Arsh, I'm curious to know now, is inflation good for the economy? In addition, is economic growth possible without inflation?
Well, it depends.
Mhm,
Moderate inflation can indicate a healthy economy with growing demand and rising wages.
mhm,
However, high or unpredictable inflation can erode purchasing power and also disrupt economic planning and also lead to inefficiencies of goods and services in the economy.
mhm,
Therefore, maintaining price stability is crucial for sustainable economic growth.
mhm,
I would say that it is possible to have economic growth without inflation. The solution to this is that the increase in supply should be in line with increase in demand in the economy. Now, this is
mhm,
possible when government or when country invests on enhancing its productive efficiency and also to keep demand pull factors in check.
mhm. Okay, so also, Arsh, we talk about the causes of inflation, the COVID-19 monetary policy and economy. But how does inflation impact a common citizen of the country?
Well, it's a very important question, Aida.
Mm-hmm,
To understand or to give response to this question,
Mm-hmm.
Whenever there is a inflationary pressure in the economy, price level of goods and services increases, but
Mm-hmm.
the income, individual's income remains sticky. In other
Mm-hmm.
words, the price of goods, the income of individual does not increase in line with increases in prices of goods and services. So as a result, the purchasing power as an individual, as a common citizen, reduces. So if you are as an individual living in a country where there is inflationary pressure in the economy, the prices of goods and services are increasing, you
Mm-hmm.
tend to spend more money to buy same quantity, same basket of goods and services which you used to buy earlier at cheaper prices. So
Mm-hmm.
your real income increases. Even though your nominal income increases, your real income decreases. Your real wages
Mm-hmm.
decreases. As a result, your purchasing power also decreases.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so thank you, Arsh, for your comparison insight in the inflation and its implications. Wise words indeed, and that concludes our special report of inflation. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more informative content. Until next time, I'm Aida Nazarova signing off.